All right, welcome to another week. Welcome to Before Marriage. We're Muiwa and OG. And on here, we just discuss our take on all things relationship before marriage.
So like if you're scared of getting married, you're tired of seeing like rubbish marriages all around you, you're tired of dead end relationships. On here we show you what you can have if you do things God's way.
Absolutely. So just jumping right into our topic for this week. If you've ever wondered why, you see two people who have had an amazing relationship, get into marriage and it becomes like the total opposite. It's because a lot of people believe that a marriage is simply the continuation of a relationship. So this week we're going to be discussing the topic 3 reasons why people change after marriage, and we're going to check back with you after this break. All right, so the number 1 reason why people change after marriage is false beliefs. There are a lot of guys out there who believe that the dating phase is when they do the chasing, and then the moment they pay the bride price or you get married, it is now your turn to chase them. And I remember a story that one of my friends told me, I think it was last year, of how it was a girl, and she was talking about how before she got married, they used to hold hands. Hey, we can't be doing this one married, man. But exactly that, like they used to hold hands, and after they got married, and she tried to reach, and it's like, we're married now, we shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, what changed? Like, a lot of people think that once you get married, you just continue what you've been doing, but there are a lot of people out there who have a different belief system once they get married. There are things that they used to do in a relationship that now that they are in a marriage, they don't think is necessary anymore. And that's one of the foundational pillars of marriage, is that you need to keep chasing your wife, and your wife needs to keep being chaseable. So if you get into marriage thinking, I've done my part, now it's your turn to chase me, then the other person changes, or you even change yourself because of that false belief.
I think it was either last week or the week before, I can't remember when exactly. I put up a post on Instagram asking for sort of like opinions or their people's take on what they think about asking their, like, checking in with their partner before they got a haircut, and the response
Who's getting a haircut?
the babe is getting the haircut, so she's checking in with her partner, be it boyfriend, fiance, husband, or whatever. And like just what that whole situation entails. And the responses were like,
what are they saying?
As in, there were some people that were like, oh, my body is my body, it's not his business what I do with it, and stuff like that. And to be fair, before you get married, yes. However, even when you're in a relationship with someone that isn't marriage, if you care about that person's opinion, which you should if you're in a relationship with that person, you should take that opinion into consideration. However, when you get married, your body is not your own. His body is not his own. So those are not...
So I hope you know you're never cutting your hair.
I read that away.
You are never ever
but I would
cutting
keep
your
with
hair.
a haircut. No, but I don't really want to cut my hair again. I've cut it enough times. But anyways, so it's like, obviously the decision making process changes. So like when you're in a relationship, okay, you're asking for his opinion, you're checking in with him, but you don't necessarily need to take it. You take it into consideration, but you don't necessarily need to abide by it, if that makes any sense. You're not submitting to that. But obviously, when you get married, that whole decision making process changes. You can no longer make independent decisions, and stuff like that. And I find that there are a lot of guys that now go into marriage complaining that maybe their wife has, like, she used to be respectful before and she's now like disrespectful, or she's now rebellious and whatnot. And like, when you dig deeper into those sort of situations, you realize that it's because the decision making process has changed. Like, just because they are married now, the guy feels like, oh, like whatever he says goes, like the woman has no opinion of her own. And this woman is basically, she's not like necessarily trying to be rebellious, but she's basically just trying to keep her head above water, that, hello, I have an opinion as well that should be taken into consideration. You're not just going to come home one day and say, oh, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, without taking my own.
Ooh, and yeah, it's similar to what because there was a live video that we watched earlier this week on how marriages have this master-slave mentality, and you need to be very careful before you get married to ensure that the person you're getting married to doesn't have the master-slave mentality where, you come into the marriage thinking this is going to be a partnership, and then the person on the other hand thinks it's going to be a dictatorship, like whatever I say goes. And another false belief is that everyone thinks that a marriage is two families coming together as one. But that's actually a false belief, because a marriage is the creation of a third family. And I feel like a lot of people get married and they prioritize their family over their wives because they believe that it's two families. These two families need to join and merge and become one, and they do that at the expense of their marriage. A marriage is not two families becoming one. It is the creation of a third family, and that third family, that's why the Bible says you shall leave your father and mother to cleave. It's not about joining those two, it's about becoming who you're supposed to become as a unit. So, second reason why people change after marriage is what we call the butterfly
effect. I kind of like this one because, like when I interact with maybe people that are dating or people that are engaged, they feel this, they're so in love. They feel like the feeling of love is never going to end. It's going to solve all their problems because they're so in love. They feel like they're communicating so well that there's no conflict. Even when there is, they're able to resolve it and all of that. Like, oh, he treats me like a princess and all of that. And I'm like, see, sister, all of that is literally just the butterfly effect. Like, when you feel positive feelings towards someone or towards something, the way you act towards that person or that thing is you're putting your best foot forward. Pretty much, it's like your representative that is interacting with that person. So sometimes, not like the person is pretending, because the person is genuinely motivated by what they feel. They are treating you in the best possible way. However, that may not be who that person really is. And one thing I tell a lot of the ladies that come to me for coaching is, yes, fantastic, he's treating you well, but how is he treating the other people that he doesn't like? Because that's what you should focus on. That's how he's going to treat you when those butterfly feelings go away. So, and science has even proven itself that on average, the butterfly feeling, as in at a stretch, lasts from like 2 to 3 years, as in max, sort of thing.
So don't 5 years, man. The butterfly is still dead.
It's still dead.
Still dead. It's still dead.
Still dead, gone. So a lot of people get into marriage expecting those feelings to still carry them through. But however, when the feelings disappear, when they die off,
that's when you know the real
exactly.
person.
That's when you know the real person. That's when this person starts treating you how they would treat anybody else, how they would treat somebody that they don't have feelings for. So that's why sometimes you feel like the person has changed when in fact the person hasn't really changed.
I think you always say something as well, like, when you go out on dates, like, how does this person treat the waiters, the doorman, his driver? These are subtle signs to let you know how this person really is, because marriage is going to marriage is a pressure cooker, and it's going to reveal the real person once you get in. So I feel like a lot of people, in the relationship phase, you feel like, oh, this person is just lovey-dovey, but that's not because marriage is going to reveal who that person really is. And I always say this, that people aren't as committed as you think they are. And here's why I say this, because everyone likes, for example, ice cream or sex. There are people that just like this thing. But the moment it becomes a requirement, then you get to see if they really love it. Because if someone says you can only have ice cream at 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. every single day, for the first week it might be good, but the second week you'll begin to test, I don't feel like drinking ice cream though. Like, do I have to? But guess what? Marriage, you are now together forever. So this is where your commitment is really, really tested. And I feel like there are a lot of people that talk about bad habits. When you're dating, you may not really see the bad habits until you get together and you start living with each other. Like I said, marriage is a pressure cooker, and it has pressured her to lie a lot.
God, as if you guys know what I've gone through. If you know what I've gone through.
You lied the other day that I snore.
No. You know, the really beautiful thing about this is that I serve a God that forever vindicates me.
I don't snore.
Because this dude here was now trying to lie that, I'm the one that snores on a regular.
I recorded you once.
But where's the recording that only he heard? I never heard it. Nobody ever heard it. Miraculously, the recording is on his old phone. He probably doesn't realize that he was recording himself. But anyways, thank God for a God that vindicates the righteous. Because our house guest now looked at him and said, but brother, she doesn't snore. That he's the one. That is for every time she wakes up.
You know what? I think you guys are mistaking this thing. And I haven't told you this, but I go for auditions in my dream.
You go for auditions? I don't understand. So what does snoring
I've been practicing for the voice. So when I'm singing in the dream, I think it comes
out as snoring. Right.
So it's
okay,
not
whatever you believe, bro. Whatever you believe. If that's your story and you are sticking to it. Okay. But this dude, as in his list of bad habits, God, I just thank you for the Jesus that's in me.
What are my bad habits? I don't understand. What do I do?
Let me not expose you.
No, what do I do? Because I know people have to.
No, wait. Like, wait. Who uses 4 towels at the same time? 4.
I'm cleaning my body.
You are looking for clean towels around the house. You can't find any because this dude here is using all 4 at once. Who does that?
Because I use that for different reasons.
I don't understand. Using for different 4 huge towels for different reasons. Dude presses the toothpaste from wherever, as in sometimes doesn't even cover the toothpaste.
There are no instructions on how to use the toothpaste.
So
did they put from down up?
But why don't you cover the toothpaste?
Why you? No, I didn't do that when we first got married, but now I do.
Sometimes you still don't. I found 2 weeks ago the thing was open.
It was Rolu that did it.
Rolu reached there. Why are you blaming him?
He did this stuff.
Anyway, as you can see, I have no bad habits. He has all the bad habits. But yeah. So basically, the idea here is that sometimes you get into marriage and, like he said, a lot of these things that you didn't see because you were not sort of interacting that closely. You were not living in each other's space and all of that. You're now beginning to see things that you don't like and stuff like that, and you feel like, maybe this person has changed, but that's who the person really was. And another thing is that sometimes because you're so focused on these these things that you perceive to be bad habits, your feelings towards the person begins to change. The way you interact with the person begins to change. The way that if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the third and final reason why people change after marriage is they don't have any insurance policy. And the reason why I say this is because marriage could be the best thing that ever happened to you, but it could also be the worst thing that ever happens to you if you don't have an insurance policy. It reminds me of a story that happened, I think this was my final year in uni in Bristol, and I just got in the BlackBerry storm. I went to Phones for You, I was very excited. The BlackBerry was like the touchscreen phone. I was excited. And after I got it, the guy was like, would you like to insure it for an extra $15 a month? And I'm like, 15 pounds. I don't know. I keep forgetting. 15 pounds a month. And I'm like, no, I've never lost my phone. I've never scratched my phone. Like this is just going to be a waste of money. So I just said, nope, I'm good with the monthly payments. Just give me my phone and let me get out of here. And then I believe it was the weekend after my mom flew in to London and I was going to go see her. So I was rushing to go to this train station and I got this funny phone call. It was a funny number and I'm like, who's this? And it's like, we're just asking you to see if you want to insure your phone, blah, blah. And I'm like, nah, I already said I don't want it. Not interested. And he's like, dude, it's £5 a month. if you get it and you don't want it after a month, you can cancel it. And I was rushing. I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Just do it. I'm going to cancel it after a month anyway. Lo and behold, for the first time ever, I actually lost my phone during that trip in London. And I was thinking back to myself, like, because of the £5 I paid for like 2 days, I was able to call the insurance company and it gave me a brand new, in fact, it gave me the Storm 2 instead of the Storm 1 that I had initially. It just got me thinking that what if I'd never paid that £5? Like, it would have left me, I would have had to pay the monthly fee for the phone that is lost and get another phone. So it would have cost me a whole lot more than I was willing to pay. It would have left me frustrated. And I feel like this is what a lot of people do in marriage, because the average wedding today costs at least $25,000. And I don't know anybody who will spend $25,000 without paying for insurance to in case of any unforeseen circumstances. So, one of the reasons why people change is that you haven't gotten that marriage insurance to help you prepare for the unforeseen circumstances that they're going to face in marriage.
Yeah, and if you're wondering what insurance is, we're talking about pre-marriage counseling, by the way.
Oh yeah.
But the thing is, there are levels of insurance, right? So it's not just about getting insurance, or should we just swap it, change? It's not about going for pre-marriage counseling, but the quality of the pre-marriage counseling that you went for. And like, I keep saying, like, the pre-marriage counseling that we even went for, I don't think we really got anything out of it.
We got something, Dylan's method.
I don't think we really got much out of it. But one thing that I'm grateful for is because at the time, I had been training to become a Christian relationship counselor. So I had like a lot of resources that we actually went through ourselves that helped us with a lot of things: communication, conflict resolution, like finance, like so many things that we went through that we're actually still using now. And I find like a lot of people, without that preparation, they go into marriage and they don't know what to do. They don't know how to act. They just, instead of responding to the situation that they're faced with, they end up reacting. And that reaction is usually out of character to their normal behavior, which is when you say, oh, this person has changed or whatever. It's because, like he said, marriage is a pressure cooker. You go in there and you're faced with different things. You're never really sort of like 100% prepared. Yeah, but obviously with pre-marriage counseling, you can get a distinction, you can get an A. Even if you're 70% prepared, you've passed sort of thing. So like with quality, good content pre-marriage counseling, you go into marriage relatively prepared, having an idea of how to face certain situations, how to act when faced with certain things and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we've talked about three things now: false beliefs, the butterfly effect, and no insurance. So there's one thing, even though we didn't have the proper marriage counseling, at least we became pre-marriage facilitators for the SYMBIS assessment, so saving your marriage before it starts. And that's why we, one tip that we're going to give to you is to take this test. It's like a pre-marriage assessment to help you deal with those false beliefs, because you need to have the right mindset coming into marriage. You need to make sure that you're coming in with partnership, the other person isn't coming in with a dictatorship mindset. And that's what this assessment does. It asks you the right questions. And I was telling her earlier in the week, like, this is what lawyers do. They just ask the right questions to get the right information out of you. They can ask the same question but in different ways to help you incriminate yourself and to get the right response out of you. So that's what this assessment does. The link is right below. What you can do is to download our report. We're going to be putting a sample report in there to let you know what this 17-page report actually looks like. It's going to talk about our mindset, our attitude towards finances, sex, everything that you're going to need in marriage so that you can insure yourself before getting in there. So we've come to the end of this one. We hope that it was exciting. You guys got a lot from it. I mean, put something in the comment section.
Let's know what you took.
Let's
out
know
of
what
it.
you got. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like if you haven't liked. And what questions would you like us to discuss in the following weeks? How has the lockdown been for you? Would like to hear from you in the comment section. So thanks for watching, and until next week, see ya.